everyone. So welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at dominant seventh chords. So dominant 7, it will never say dominant 7, it'll look like A7, B7, C7. And they actually have the most open positions of the other chord types. So there's A, B, C, D, E, and G, 6 different chords. So what we're going to do is we'll go through one at a time in the same fashion we did with the minor and major chords, and then I'll show you how to practice them on your own. I encourage you to mess around with these. These are very beautiful sounding chords. They're not the kind of chords you'll typically hear played in sequence where every chord is a 7 chord like you hear most chords would be major or minor. It's more special chord used, and it's very beautiful sounding, and the fingering positions will be a little bit more complex in some cases than you've been used to with the minor and major chords. But just keep practicing, you'll get used to it, and keep going through, trying to get the sound as clean as possible first. So let's begin. One thing I'd like to mention before we begin is we're not going to go through the specific notes in the chord yet, because that requires some knowledge of the scales. You have to know the major scales to be able to know what numbers of the scale we are using in the chord. So don't worry about the notes in the chord right now. Just focus on learning these open position chords. They're necessary no matter what style of music you're playing, as long as you're going to try to play songs by yourself on guitar. If you're just interested in soloing, I will be putting some lessons on how to solo and slowly building up from scratch towards that, being able to solo. But if you're interested in ever playing any songs by yourself, chords are the way to do it. If you want to play chords and sing by yourself, then all of these chords will be necessary and are used in many songs. Okay? So without further ado, we'll start with an A7 is the first chord. You see what they sound like, very beautiful. So to play the A7, the E string remains open. Okay. The second string, we're going to put the second finger on the second fret. The third string remains open. The fourth string, first finger, second fret. And the fifth string is open. The E string remains muted, just like in the case of the other A chords we went over, the minor and the major. A7. So it's just the first and second finger we're using there. Make sure you keep this first finger bent very strongly so that it doesn't touch this third string here. So try to keep that up so that everything sounds clean. And practice it the same way we practiced all the other chords. So go through one note at a time. And have everything clean. If you hear stuff like this, right, the finger catching the other strings, then come back, go through one at a time until you hear clean, and then try to play it. And just strumming down a few times. We're also going to come to strumming later. I'll make a video on that, and I'll begin to put these chords that we're learning now into some simple songs, some songs that just incorporate these chords, like Beatles songs. Very simple usually, few chords. Okay? And then we'll start to use them, learn how to do strumming patterns and things like that. So for right now, just trying to get the chords as clean as you can so that you don't have to come back and try to relearn them later. Moving on. The next chord is a B7. This may be the most difficult fingering position out of all of them for you. It sounds beautiful. Okay. So we're using all 4 of the fingers here. We're going to start with the pinky on the first string, second fret. Then we're going to skip a string. The second string remains open. The third string, third finger, second fret. Then the fourth string, first finger on the first fret. Fifth string, second finger, second fret. And that's it. Again, you could mute the top string with your thumb, as we were showing you last time. used in a Johnny Cash song. Okay, so back to the chord. Again, you're going to go through and strum it. See, if it sounds clean, great. But if you get some of this fingers touching the open strings, like here, second string, if you get that ring finger touching the second string, so be aware of that. And then go back down one at a time till you hear clean. Once it's clean, then come back and try strumming again. Keep doing that. If you hear some buzzing, then go back. Go through one at a time again. Keep getting your chords clean first. Really work on that. Bending your fingers strong, pressing in strong with your fingers. This will also help you build calluses as well. Moving on. The next chord is a C7. It's a regular C chord that we did, the major chord, and you're just putting one more finger. So, first string remains open. Second string, first finger on this first fret. Then you're going to bring your pinky finger, third string, pinky finger on the third fret. Then the fourth string, second finger, second fret. Fifth string, third finger, third fret. And that's it. Again, using all the fingers. Again, you can go one at a time. And if you don't hear any buzzing, it feels clean, then continue. You can go through the chords this way. Keep working, same way as before. If you hear any buzzing, anything catching on, anything catching the strings, come back one at a time. Notice where it's happening. So if you hear that's where it's happening, then keep working on that. You're going to bend your first finger a little more. Right? Strong bends in the knuckles. Keep the fingers coming straight in towards the fretboard rather than laying down on the fretboard. C7. The next one is going to be D7. D7, we only need 3 fingers, so that's nice after the other ones. For this again, you can mute the top 2 strings. The 5th and 6th string you can mute with the thumb. We're going to start with the D. The D string remains open, starting from the bottom. We're going to put first string, third finger, second fret. Second string, first finger, first fret. Third string, second finger, second fret. And fourth string remains open. The top 2 strings, again, you can mute them as best you can with your thumb. We'll get more into this later. And that's it. D7. Again, you can strum. If you hear anything that's dirty or buzzing, in this case, it's not going to be fingers touching the strings usually. It will probably be that you're not pressing hard enough, or that you're too close to the fret. You're putting your fingers on the fret. Okay? Remember the fret's this metal bars running up and down. D7. Then E7, only 2 fingers, great. So we're going to start, the bottom 3 strings remain, the bottom 2 strings remain open. So the first string, second string are open. Third string, first finger, first fret. Fourth string remains open. Fifth string, second finger, second fret. And then you play all the strings for this one. E is the top string, right? So 6th string stays open. And then again, if you hear any buzzing, in this case it may be the fingers touching or not pressing down hard enough. Usually they're the 2 things. Go back one at a time. And then once you get it clean like that, you can strum. E7. The last one is G7. So G7, You're going to use a different fingering for this. This is why sometimes you see people use different fingering for G chord. I use, as I showed you before, the index and middle finger up top. Some people use their middle finger and ring finger, as you can see, and they use their pinky on the bottom string here, like that. If you use that position, it's easy to come to the G7. You could just flip, but it's not a hard chord once you get the hang of it. So starting from the bottom, the first finger, the first string, first finger, first fret. And then every string is open in between. So the second stays open, third string is open, fourth string is open. Only the fifth string is the second finger, second fret. The sixth string is the third finger, third fret. Easy to remember. First, first, second, second, third, third. And that's it. This one may cause a little buzzing by the hand again being lax. That's usually the problem. Relaxing the hand down too much, bringing your wrist up, shoulder up like this because you're straining. Relax down. Let your wrist come under. Let your fingers come up like they're pressing straight into the frets, straight into the fretboard. So if you hear any buzzing, you get the fourth string caught there, like that. Bring your fingers up, press in harder. Okay? Do one at a time, again. And that's it. I hope this was helpful for you. What I recommend is go back major chords, especially if you're just starting, just learning these chords. Learn all of the open positions first. That's why I'm making specific videos on the open positions. So go back, learn the major open positions first, minor open positions first. Okay? Get those down good, really clean. Remember, prioritize the cleanliness of your playing. That way you don't have to go back later. It will make you such a nice, clean player later, and you'll appreciate it. You won't have to go back and change it up afterwards. Nothing is worse than having to come back and relearn something, practice it for hours over and over again to change what you've already ingrained in your mind. Okay? So do it clean first. Do the major chords, minor chords, then come learn these dominant seventh chords. And I'm going to do more videos still on the rest of the open position chords. Then start moving to the bar chords, which are going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more hand strength is involved. Okay, that's when you bring the finger across like this. And I'll go through all the positions for these chords like that, in which case, the thing that's great about the bar chords is that every chord is available, right? The open position chords, you can see that there's only so many available in the open position. So happy practicing, have fun, and I'll see you next time.